allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, welcome to the June 7th, 2021 meeting of the Town of Dover Planning Board. Today's meeting has been convened in accordance with the Governor's March 13, 2020 Executive Order 202.1, which dispense certain provisions of the open meeting law to allow a municipal board to convene a meeting via video conferencing. In accordance with the executive order, the public has been provided with the ability to view the meeting, and a transcript will be provided at a later date. I have confirmed that this meeting has been duly noticed. We have fulfilled our legal notice requirements by posting notice at Town Hall, providing notice of the meeting to local news organizations, and posting notice to the town's website. Okay. So old business, we have Dover 1 LLC. We had a public meeting at our last meeting of the planning board. We're just looking to close that public hearing. We're just looking to see if we received any input from the New York State DEC. And so we're going to continue looking at this project. So if the applicant's consultant or the applicant would like to speak.
Yes, hi, I guess the applicant. I thought that the engineer was going to be on tonight. I'm not sure. Other than that, if you know where he is.
Okay. I think we're probably still okay. We're just looking to see if we got any update from the DEC. We'll at this time we'll just forego going through the planning board members and go to the consultants to see what, if any, updates we've received. We'll start with Engineer Berger.
Yeah, I have not heard anything from DEC yet.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Berger. Attorney Polidoro, not hearing from the DEC doesn't preclude us from taking any action this evening on
it doesn't. The board was waiting to hear from DEC in case the project required any major or substantial changes, which would have impacted the site plan. But DEC has had the application for some time now for review. So one option the board has is to approve it conditioned on the applicant getting approval from the DEC for the stream disturbance. The applicant would take the risk that DEC would later require a change and have to come back, but it would let the applicant, go away and start pursuing that in earnest.
and make it clear that it's not the Town of Dover Planning Board holding this up, but the DEC.
Correct.
Thank you. Planner Warner, anything to add?
Not really. We have the negative declaration part, the EAF part 2 and part 3 from last meeting that I carried over to this one. I just put a new date on it in the event that we were going to adopt it. So that's ready. Marilyn has a copy of that for you to sign, Ryan. And I understand the resolution is also redated and pretty much the same as we looked at last meeting. So nothing new for me. I'm fine with having a condition from DEC in there.
Okay. So what I think we'll do at this time is I'll read the resolution, I'll motion for its approval, and then if there's a second, we'll go through each board member to see if there's any further discussion before voting on this resolution. So resolution to grant site plan and erosion and sediment control permit approval, Dover 1 LLC. Whereas the applicant Dover 1 LLC has submitted an application for site plan approval and erosion and sediment control permit approval to construct a swale in order to replace an existing culvert and convey an existing stream to the Wells Brook, a Class C stream, also known as collectively the project, on two properties located at 34 North Nelly Hill Road. Tax parcel number is 7063-00-591318 and 560-320, collectively known as the property, in the HM zoning district and floodplain and stream corridor overlay or SC districts. And whereas the project is depicted on a site plan entitled 34 N Nelly Hill Road, prepared by Connolly Engineering, dated January 12, 2021, last revised March 15, 2021, also known as the site plan. And whereas the property contains multifamily housing and associated parking and utilities, and whereas pursuant to zoning law 145A, subsection 1, subsection B, subsection 1, the filing or excavation of an area in excess of 5,000 square feet within the SC district requires site plan approval. And whereas pursuant to zoning law 145-14F, an erosion and sediment control permit is required for any site plan application in which the area to be disturbed lies partially within the SC district. And whereas on March 1, 2021, the planning board classified the project as a major project under the zoning law, and whereas the applicant has submitted a short environmental assessment form, also known as an EAF, dated January 21, 2021, pursuant to the State Environmental Quality Review Act, also known as SECRA. And whereas on April 5, 2021, the planning board classified the project as an unlisted action under SECRA and determined to conduct an uncoordinated review. And whereas the planning board has reviewed the EAF and application materials, thoroughly analyzed all information regarding relevant areas of environmental concern, and considered the criteria contained in 6 NYCRR 617.7. And whereas pursuant to section 239-M of the General Municipal Law, the project was referred to the Dutchess County Department of Planning and Development on April 5, 2021, which responded that the project was a matter of local concern. And whereas a duly noticed public hearing was opened on May 17, 2021, and closed on, this is June 7, 2021.
It will be closed. You have to close it when you're done reading the resolution.
Right. During a meeting held by the planning board in accordance with New York State Governor Cuomo's Executive Order 202.1 and the subsequent extensions thereof, during which all of those who wish to speak were heard. Now therefore be it resolved that the planning board hereby adopts a negative declaration for the project pursuant to SECRA, finding that there are no significant adverse environmental impacts related to the project and that a draft environmental impact statement will not be prepared. Be it further resolved that pursuant to section 145-14 of the zoning law, the planning board hereby makes the following findings of fact. 1, the project will not result in degradation of scenic character and will be aesthetically compatible with its surroundings. 2, the project will not result in erosion or stream pollution from surface or subsurface runoff. 3, the project will comply with other applicable provisions of the zoning law. Be it further resolved, the planning board hereby grants site plan approval to the project and authorizes the chair of his authorized designee to sign the site plan after compliance with the following conditions. 1, payment of all fees in escrow. 2, approval by the attorney to the planning board of mutual easement and maintenance agreement between Dover One LLC and TNF Holding Corp. Permitting the construction and continued maintenance of the project. 3, issuance of a stream disturbance permit from the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation. 4, revision of the site plan to include a riprap check dam or a core log at the connection to the existing stream at the start of construction to prevent sediment from going downstream. The riprap check dam or core log shall be removed when the ditch is stabilized with sturdy grass growth. 5, revision of the site plan to include a note indicating that construction of the ditch will occur from downstream to upstream and that periodic check dams will be provided to hold back sediment until the ditch has a sturdy growth of grass. Be further resolved that the planning board hereby grants the applicant an erosion sediment control permit and for disturbance as shown on the plan set subject to the following conditions. Submission of $1,000 to be placed into escrow to cover the cost of site inspections by the town engineer. 2, submission of a performance guarantee in the amount of $20,825 in form, substance, and matter of execution satisfactory to the town board and town attorney. And 3, the permit is valid for 1 year from the date of this resolution. Be it further resolved that before the authorized official may issue a certificate of compliance for work completed in accordance with the erosion sediment control permit, the planning board engineer shall provide the authorized official with a written statement indicating that all work authorized in the permit has been completed and is satisfactory. Okay, having read that resolution, let me just set it aside momentarily so we can continue and then close the public hearing. So I'll need a motion to continue a public hearing on granting site plan and erosion sediment control permit approval for Dover One LLC. That motion is made by myself, seconded by
Second.
seconded by Member Rahman. If the secretary could please call the roll for for continuing the public hearing on Dover 1 LLC.
Chairman Courtine,
Aye.
Member LaRobodiere,
Aye.
Member Roman,
Aye.
Member Williams. Henry, hold on. Henry just left and came back in.
Wait, we don't have a quorum. Oh, hold on.
Oh, he must have gotten on. He's back.
Okay. So to recap, Member Williams. Member Williams, can you hear me?
They're
He's
voting.
He's
voting-
muted.
Excuse me. To recap, Member Williams, I've read the resolution. We're just setting aside for a moment so we can continue and then close the public hearing. So the motion was made by myself, seconded by Member Rahman. So I asked the secretary to call the roll. You're back now?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Internet is a little unstable right now, so.
Okay. All right. That's understandable. I have that happen myself sometimes in my house. All right. The vote to continue the public hearing is 4-0 with 3 absences. This public hearing is being continued. Any member of the public wishing to speak with regard to the granting of site plan and erosion sediment control permit approval for Dover 1 LLC shall do so at this time. All right, seeing no member of the public wishing to continue to speak on this, I'll make a motion to close this public hearing. Seconded by
Second.
Member Williams. Secretary, please call the roll in closing this public hearing.
Ryan Courtine,
Aye.
Member LaRobodiere,
Aye.
Member Roman,
Aye.
Member Williams.
Aye.
Okay, with a vote of 4-0 with 3 absences, the motion to close the public hearing is passed. This public hearing is now closed. Okay, having read the resolution in its entirety, including the portion about the public hearing closing on June 7th, 2021, as it just did, I will now motion that we consider this and approve this resolution. Motion made by myself, seconded by
Second.
made by Member Roman. Secretary, please, so let's a discussion. So I'll start. Look, I think this project makes a lot of sense. I think this will help an area of the town that is sees quite a bit of local flooding, and I believe it'll help alleviate that. I believe we've also taken into consideration that there's no need for this property to continue to have a trail that the planning board would require them to have, and that the necessary measures being put in place so that if the Wells Brook water level rises up, it won't backflow up this channel unless it's some kind of 50 or 100-year flood where there'd just be water everywhere anyway, so it wouldn't really matter. So I think that we've put enough be it further resolves in here to take care of, that the DEC will hopefully eventually soon get around to doing what they need to do so this necessary work can be completed. That's all I have. We'll go through the members to see if there's any further discussion. Member Williams.
No further discussion.
Thank you, Member Williams. Member LaRobodiere.
No comments.
Thank you, Member LaRobodiere. And Member Roman.
Nothing further.
Thank you, Member Roman. Okay, anything further from our consultants? Planner Werner.
Nothing further for me.
Thank you. Engineer Berger
Nothing further from me.
and Attorney Polidoro.
Not for me.
All. With that, I believe discussion is ended. For a resolution to grant site plan and erosion sediment control permit approval for Dover 1 LLC. If the secretary please call the roll.
Chair Courtine,
Aye.
Member LaRobodiere,
Aye.
Member Roman,
Aye.
Member Williams.
Aye.
The vote is 4-0 with 3 absences. This resolution is thereupon adopted by the planning board. Sir, good luck. Hopefully you hear from the DEC soon.
Thank you very much. Just a question.
Yes.
When I secure the contractor and hook him up with the engineer, we cannot start until we hear from the DEC, or?
That is correct, but I'll wait for our engineer to tell you.
Sorry?
That's correct, but Engineer Berger, if you could please say that.
What you need to get the stream disturbance permit from the DEC, since you're open the stream. Once you get that permit, the stream of the, you provide it to the planning board. The planning board will chair will then sign the site plan and erosion control, and then you can proceed to work.
Okay, thank you very much.
Also in the resolution, I'd bring to your attention, you need to have the easements secured and approved by the town attorney as well, because you have 2 different parcels. You own both.
Correct.
So you need to work with the town attorney to resolve, not resolve, but provide a easement that allows you to work on both properties.
We can just clarify, the town attorney or the planning board attorney?
Excuse me, planning board attorney.
Thank you.
I meant to say town planning board attorney. Yes, planning board attorney. Correct,
Okay.
thank you.
Ronald, we'll get a copy of the resolution to your consultant because he also needs to make some revisions to the plan before. it's
Okay.
So there are a few more steps, but you don't need to come back before this board.
Okay, so I'm just being in contact with him.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you. Good luck. Okay, so now under new business, we have the Billington lot line adjustment. This is for location is 85 and 99 Southeast Mountain Road, Wingdale, New York. And plans were prepared by Rennie Engineering. And we have a representative from Rennie Engineering with us. Good evening, Mr. Sander.
Want me to take it away?
Yes, please go ahead.
Thank you very much, Chairman Cortine. Hello, Planning Board. It's been a while. Hope everyone's good. Hope everyone's surviving this heat wave. What we got is a fairly straightforward lot line adjustment. As Mr. Cortine had said, it's on Southeast Mountain Road. It's located within the Rural District or RU zoning district, which requires 2 acres. The applicant is proposing to transfer 0.374 acres of his southeastern corner of the lot to the southernmost neighbor. And in exchange, the southernmost neighbor will provide 0.334 acres of the northern portion of his property to Mr. Billington. So overall, this would result in a 0.04 acre change between the 2 parcels, with Mr. Billington's parcel being 6.296 acres, and Mr. Larrabee's parcel being 1.7 acres. Overall, this represents an actual improvement of existing non-conforming conditions. As you can see, Mr. Billington's parcel maintains a 17-foot side yard setback with the existing structure. This will actually increase it to about 83.6 feet. So that's a pretty significant improvement. It also very slightly increases the acreage of lot 2, also resulting in an improvement of an existing non-conforming condition. Other than that, it's very straightforward, and I look forward to hearing what you guys have for comments.
Hey, thank you, Mr. Sander. So again, the minimum lot area in this RU zone is 2 acres. So lot 2 is 1.7, but that's an improvement. Therefore, your contention is it's less non-conforming.
Correct.
And so planning board should consider that. And then also the minimum front yard setback is 60 feet. The existing is 40.5. So I would think obviously without moving the entire house back 19.5 feet, there's no solution to that, correct?
Correct.
Okay. All right. That's all I have for now. We'll go through the members and then the consultants. Member LaRoberdier, any comments or questions at this time?
No, thank you.
Member LaRoberdier. Member Roman, comments or questions?
No, not at this time.
Thank you, Member Roman. And Member Williams, comments or questions?
No comment at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Williams. All right, we'll first go to Attorney Polidoro.
Yes, hi. This is just a housekeeping item, but the first item is that we don't have a letter of agent from Mr. Larrabee authorizing you to appear on his behalf.
Yep. I actually just received that this afternoon. So I was gonna send that in as soon as this meeting concluded, if any revisions.
Okay, so we'll need that before, the board can approve anything, really before it processes it, but before approval. And then I guess one of the questions we had is, what is the purpose of this subdivision?
Well, it's not a subdivision, it's a lot line adjustment. So the purpose of this particular is really to clear up the setback non-conforming statuses. So other than that, like I said, it's an improvement of existing conditions. And the applicant also mentioned to me that he was looking to construct a barn just as an accessory use. And right now, as it would stand, it would come into that side yard setback because it'd be located, from what my understanding, behind the one-story frame building.
On lot 1 or lot 2?
On lot 1, yeah. So overall, that's also going to make that a conforming structure as well, or I guess it's just going to allow it to be constructed because it would conform with all the setback requirements.
Okay, well, that's an explanation. So the other question, and I know Mr. Warner has a few more comments, but I didn't see that both the septics were located on this plan and both the wells, and we would just want to make sure that you're not conveying any land that has a leach field or a well on it.
Right. So very unlikely. Again, I might have to reach out to the surveyor because this is all, as you guys can tell, a hand-drawn plat. The surveyor we were working with doesn't really work within CAD. But considering just how septic systems work and the permission to file a note that would be signed by the health department, is that the area being conveyed to Mr. Billington is definitely not going to contain the septic for the lot 2, just because you'd have to have it crossed. My assumption is that your septic system would be more on the interior of the lot. So I do not believe that's any concern.
I mean, I'll defer to Joe on that, whether he thinks it's a concern, but.
Anything further, Attorney Polidoro?
Not for me. Oh, I have one more thing. Tonight, the board can classify this as a type 2 action under seeker. You can just make a motion to do that.
Thank you. Planner Warner?
So Victoria hit on pretty much all of my substantive comments. There were some procedural comments too in the memo, noting that yes, it's a type 2, SECRA. This will require a public hearing, which we can probably set tonight if the board agrees. It doesn't need to go to Dutchess County for any referral. As you mentioned in your opening exchange with Mr. Sander, the non-conformance is improving, so there's no variances needed for this one. As Victoria said, we're looking to get a letter of authorization from Mr. Billington or for Mr. Larrabee to have Mr. Billington serve as the applicant for this. I noticed the plat does have both parties signed. There's signatures from both parties on the plat. Yes, but yeah, if that's in process, that's fine. We can just get a copy of that when it's ready. Yeah, that was it. About the barn, what's the timing for that? Is that, I guess we would have to look into I don't have the code in front of me, but there's already 2 buildings on this lot. Obviously, it's an accessory structure. Do you know if they would have to come before the board for anything for that offhand?
Not from my understanding. I think this is as simple as just being handled from the building department.
Double check too.
Mhm.
Yeah, nothing else for me. The septic comment was in there. I think it would be good to have it on the final version if you can get the locations,
Mhm.
but that's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Planner Warner. We'll go to Engineer Berger in just a moment, but before we do that, Mr. Sander, can you just while Engineer Berger's speaking, if he is, can you try and bring up some aerial view of this, maybe through Parcel Access?
Yeah, hold on 1 second.
Okay. So Engineer Berger, any comments or questions at this time?
Yeah, the only thing is to also go on the septic and well. What we've done in the past, and the health department would want this as well, is the septic and the wells need to be shown on both parcels. But what we've accepted, and the health department also has accepted, locations as shown by the owners. So if they don't know exactly, because you can't dig up a septic system. So if it's buried and the owner marks it in the field or shows the surveyor where it is, the map can show existing subsurface sewage disposal as identified by the owner. And we've allowed that in the past in Dover, and the health department would accept that as well. So I think that's the minimum we should be asking for. That way, at least to the best of our knowledge, we've shown where they are and that they aren't in the areas that are being transferred.
Gotcha. Perfect. All right, and I have Parcel Access pulled up right now. If I can.
Oh, I just shared it.
Oh, okay.
Is that okay?
So
Yeah.
speedy.
Figured I already shared before. I should keep it going.
Engineer
so
Berger,
this is
thank you for your comments.
The Billington parcel is shown here. Here's the Larrabee parcel here.
Yeah, as you can see, it's that existing lot line is extremely close to the existing structure. So this will kind of flatten it out and make sure that it's all meeting setbacks.
Okay. But okay, I guess what I was hoping for was that the I'll just call it I don't know, the piece that's north of the Larrabee house and east of the Billington house. I was hoping it'd be wooded, so it'd be clear that that's likely not where the septic is located.
Mhm.
And they don't know where their wells. I would think they at least know where their wells are.
Yeah, those should be simple and they should be able to quickly be found. So I'm going to have to consult with the surveyor on how best to get these paper edits. So it shows the location of all these, or the approximate location of well and septic.
Again, I understand I believe you're saying is that you presume the well's probably in the front or side of the house and the septic's in the back of the house. And
Correct. So what I'm thinking is that the septic for the Larrabee would not be conveyed up. It wouldn't make sense for it to be conveyed uphill towards the Billington parcel.
can you put on the terrain Planner Warner, you're controlling this, right? Could you click on the terrain button, please? On the left next to Ariel or below Ariel.
Yeah, so it's fairly
Right.
flat, but that is the uphill direction.
Sure.
So you would,
The surveyor can verify that by going in the building, looking where the line's going out of the house.
Mhm.
So this is something the surveyor should be more than capable of doing. It's done time. So them finding the approximate location either by talking to the owner or looking at the evidence from within the house, they should be able to see that.
okay.
Is this a house though, Peter? Or because I know on the plan it shows this structure as a residence, just says one frame building for this one. Is it actually a residence too?
Yes, I believe that is also a residence.
Okay, that's all I had. Did any other members of the planning board have any additional comments or questions based on what we've just heard from our consultants or the applicant's consultant? Please speak now.
My only request is that we can have a public hearing opened for the next planning board agenda, if you guys have no exception.
All right, that's something we can consider. Well, I mean, our next meeting is 2 weeks from now. I'm not sure if that's gives us sufficient time to notice a public hearing, but I'll wait to hear from our attorney and our secretary on that.
I mean, it's sufficient time, but it's tight. It's a tight turnaround for Maryland to get the notices out and get it in the paper, because it would have to happen in the next few days.
Yeah, we use Poughkeepsie Journals. You could probably have to have it in within 2 days to get it in within the 5 days, knowing my time frame.
I probably could get it done by Wednesday.
That's about your deadline, I think, Wednesday or Thursday.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay, well, okay, so at this time, seeing no further discussion on the Billington lot line adjustment, I'll make a motion to declare this a type 2 action under SECRA. Motion made by myself, seconded by
Second by Williams.
Member Williams. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, all those in favor of this being a type 2 action under SECRA, if the secretary please call the roll.
Member Cortine,
Aye.
Member LaRobodiere,
Aye.
Member Roman,
Aye.
Member Williams.
Aye.
All right, with a vote of 4-0 with 3 absences, the motion is approved. Next, I'll put forward a motion to set a public hearing for the Billington lot line adjustment for June 21st at 7 p.m. or as soon thereafter as the planning board can hear such a public hearing. That motion is being put forth by myself, seconded by
Second.
Member Roman. Discussion? I guess just if the deadline isn't met, Attorney Polidoro, then it just has to, then at that meeting, we have to set one for the following meeting.
Yes,
Okay.
but we'll get it in time.
So I like to hear. Thanks, guys.
We haven't voted yet, so. All right. Any further discussion? All right, seeing no further discussion, all those in favor of public hearing for the Billington lot line adjustment for June 21st, all those in favor, the clerk will, the secretary, please call the roll.
Chair Cortine,
Aye.
Member LaRobodiere,
Aye.
Member Roman,
Aye.
Member Williams.
Aye.
All right, with a vote of 4-0 with 3 absences, the motion to hold a public hearing on June 1st is approved.
No, thank you.
June 20th.
You're welcome. All right, anything further, Attorney Polidoro, that you believe we need to consider at this time for the Billington lot line adjustment?
Not for tonight.
I guess it would be helpful to move this project along if you can get some clarification about the septic and well locations.
Right. Yep.
Maybe by the end of this week.
Yeah, I'm gonna work on this as soon as I get off or probably tomorrow morning, just to see what time I could get the surveyor to hand draw us some new maps. So
I could reach out to Dave McDougall to see if there's anything in the county records. So I'll do that tomorrow morning.
perfect.
He may do that quicker if we ask. So.
Awesome. Thank you, Joe.
Okay, so I think that's all for the Billington lot line adjustment
Awesome.
this evening. Thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone. Have a nice night.
All right. Next, we have 2 requests for extensions. I'm going to read these resolutions and then we'll consider them. Resolution granting 6-month extension of erosion and sediment control permit approval for the Dover Estate subdivision. This will be tax parcel numbers 7060-00-777592 and -783563 and -785544 and -787526 and -790504. Whereas on August 1st, 2011, the planning board granted conditional final approval to the subdivision plat entitled Dover Estates, Town of Dover, sheets 1 through 14 dated 10/21/04, last revised 6/11, prepared by Northern Westchester Civil Engineering, PC, and granted an erosion sediment control permit for disturbance shown thereon. And whereas pursuant to section 65-8K of the code, the planning board may grant an extension of time to complete the work contemplated under erosion sediment control permit if, in its discretion, the planning board finds that such extension was warranted. And whereas on December 19th, 2011, the planning board granted the applicant a 6-month extension of time to February 1, 2013 to complete the work contemplated under the permit. And whereas on December 3rd, 2012, the planning board granted the applicant a second 6-month extension of time to August 1, 2013 to complete the work contemplated under the permit. And whereas on June 3rd, 2013, the planning board granted applicant a third 6-month extension of time to February 1, 2014 to complete the work contemplated under the permit. And whereas on January 15, 2014, the planning board granted the applicant a fourth 6-month extension of time to August 1, 2014 to complete the work contemplated under the permit. And whereas on June 2nd, 2014, the planning board granted the applicant a fifth 6-month extension of time to February 1, 2015 to complete the work contemplated under the permit. And whereas on December 15th, 2015, the planning board granted the applicant a sixth 6-month extension of time to August 1, 2015 to complete the work contemplated under the permit. And whereas on June 1, 2015, the planning board granted the applicant a seventh 6-month extension of time to February 1, 2016 to complete the work contemplated under the permit. The resolution erroneously said January 28th, 2016. And whereas on December 7, 2015, the planning board granted the applicant an eighth 6-month extension of time to August 1, 2016 to complete the work contemplated under the permit. And whereas on July 18, 2016, the planning board granted the applicant a ninth 6-month extension of time to February 1, 2017 to complete the work contemplated under the permit. And whereas on December 19, 2016, the planning board granted the applicant a 10th 6-month extension of time to August 1, 2017 to complete the work contemplated under the permit. And whereas on July 17, 2017, the planning board granted the applicant an 11th 6-month extension of time to February 1, 2018 to complete the work contemplated under the permit. And whereas on January 10th, 2018, the planning board granted the applicant a 12th 6-month extension of time to August 1, 2018 to complete the work contemplated under the permit. And whereas on July 16, 2018, the planning board granted the applicant a 13th 6-month extension of time to February 1, 2019 to complete the work contemplated under the permit. And whereas on December 3rd, 2018, the planning board granted the applicant a 14th 6-month extension of time to August 1, 2019 to complete the work contemplated under the permit. And whereas on June 3rd, 2019, the planning board granted the applicant a 15th 6-month extension of time to February 1, 2020 to complete the work contemplated under the permit. And whereas on December 16, 2019, the planning board granted the applicant a 16th 6-month extension of time to August 1, 2020 to complete the work contemplated under the permit. And whereas on May 18, 2020, the planning board granted the applicant a 17th 6-month extension of time to February 1, 2021 to complete the work contemplated under the permit. And whereas on December 21st, 2020, the planning board granted the applicant an 18th 6-month extension of time to August 1, 2021 to complete the work contemplated under the permit. And whereas the applicant has requested an additional extension of time to complete the work authorized under the permit. And whereas permit renewals are type 2 actions under seeker. And whereas the planning board has considered the particular circumstances of the applicant which warrant an extension thereof. Now therefore be it resolved that the planning board hereby grants the applicant, and it says 18th, I think this would be the 19th. Is that a yes?
Yes, 19th.
All right, so let's change that. Now therefore be resolved so that the planning board hereby grants the applicant a 19th 6-month extension of time to February 1, 2022 to complete the work contemplated under the erosion and sediment control permit as shown on the approved plan entitled Dover Estates, Town of Dover, sheets 1 through 14, dated 10/21/04 and revised 6/11, prepared by Northern Westchester Civil Engineering PC, subject to satisfaction of the conditions set forth in resolution adopted by the board on August 1, 2011, subject to the following conditions. 1, payment of all fees and escrow. 2, proof that the required performance guarantee will remain in full force and effect until at least February 1, 2022. Be it further resolved that before the authorized official may issue a certificate of compliance, the planning board engineer shall provide the authorized official with a written statement indicating that all work authorized under the permit has been completed in accordance with the approved permit. This resolution is being offered by myself, seconded by Member Williams. Member Williams, seconded by Member Williams. Discussion. So the 19th 6-month extension. Attorney Polidoro, do they have unlimited extensions?
So your code does not have a limit on the number of times you can extend an erosion and sediment control permit. And the general rule is that the board would have to have a rational basis to not grant an extension. However, I mean, we're going on many, many years. So it
Yes.
may be that the next time they come to seek an extension, some items should be updated. So for example, the performance guarantee, the amount of that bond in 2011 probably does not reflect today's pricing and how much restoration would cost in 2021, 2022. So you'll probably want to have that updated at a minimum. You may also want the applicant to update any pertinent seeker studies or to provide you with a letter, stating that there have been no changes in the area, project changes that would impact this proposal.
Okay.
So Victoria, we have to wait until the 20th time?
No, you could do that now if you wanted. You could always do it. I mean, this is a very long period of time. So you could do that now and it's just that we didn't give the applicant much notice. So we thought.
But the current
Go ahead.
6-month extension is till August 1 of 2021. So it's not as though we're pressed for time
That's
here at
true.
the beginning of June.
You could ask the applicant to provide that information now.
Okay. And it would be most appropriate for who to ask the applicant?
So, I mean, as a board, if all the board members feel that it's time to have it updated, you guys could make that decision, and then Joe or Aaron and I could reach out to the applicant tomorrow and advise them that they need to update their materials.
Okay.
And it would
So,
be on this one and the companion application, which is after this, Rusciano.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Attorney Polidoro. Member Williams, you started speaking there. Any further comments or questions at this time?
Yeah, I just think we need to visit that. 20 times, I think, is at some point we know where we're moving this thing forward or not.
Member Williams, please don't exaggerate. It's 19 times.
Okay, sorry. I lost count.
The
next one would be 20, sure. And the one after that would be 21. So anything further, Member Williams? Fine.
Nothing further.
All right. Member LaRobediere?
No, nothing further. Do we need, so we don't need to go over the other resolution then, if we can just make a resolution to update it, notify the client that we're going to update it?
Well, we've motioned and seconded this resolution. So my thinking is that we'll table this resolution, but I want to hear from you and Member Roman and then the consultants before I offer that. So any further comments or questions regarding this resolution?
I
Over here.
don't have
Vermont.
any, I don't have anything further. I do think it makes sense to get things updated considering the amount of time.
All right, Attorney Polidoro, anything further to add here?
No, I mean, I agree. It's been a long time, and we've had other applicants such as Stony Brook that have been before you for many years, periodically update their materials. So this is not unusual.
Okay, thank you, Attorney Polidoro. Planner Werner, anything to add?
I agree with what Victoria said. We recently did this with Stony Brook. I think we did also have to do another public hearing, right? When we had them come back. They kind of
with
restarted
Stony
the
Brook,
process.
There's the Dover Code provides a limit on the number of times you can extend a site plan or a special use permit, which forces the board to reissue approvals, and then we have to do the public hearings again. The erosion and sediment control permits don't have that same requirement, but if the board wants to hear from the public, you're welcome to set a hearing on the extension request. There's no prohibition on that.
If we're simply just amending, if we end up just simply amending the approved erosion and sediment control permit, that doesn't trigger having a public hearing?
Right, you're not amending it, you're just extending the permit that you've already approved. Your
Right,
code
but I'm
doesn't
saying if
ever
they say,
require
oh, the
it.
conditions have changed and now we want to do this instead of that, then
Your code allows you to, the public hearing on an erosion and sediment control permit is optional.
okay. All right, thank you. Engineer Berger, anything further?
No, I forgot.
Oh, sorry, Planner Werner, you still have more?
Yeah, no, I didn't realize it was erosion sediment control only. That was one that I never looked at, but that sounds good to me. Should have
Yeah,
them
but
contact them and get some resubmitted set of materials. Have them, if they want to submit a letter for secra, that sounds good too. All the things that Victoria mentioned sound good to me.
Engineer Berger?
yeah, just remind everybody, the underlying approval of this was a subdivision, which the map's been filed, so the lots have already been created.
Sure.
So what's left is just the erosion control portion of the work. I believe we should ask them to update their bond and to relook at their erosion control practices to see if they're in keeping with the current DEC recommendations. And that's something that's easy for them to do. It wouldn't take a lot of work, but at least it would assure the planning board that the plans that they have current approved 19 times ago, 18 times ago are meeting today's standards, which was the intent of the erosion control plan and permit anyway, that they would always have to build based on current standards. So even if we didn't make them, but this would be easier for the building department to monitor. So if they went out there and start working, right now, Don would have to go out and probably tell them to do additional things that are not on the plan to make it current with today's standards, which we are allowed to do because that's what the Chapter 65 says. But it would be better if the plans were slightly modified and the bond adjusted to today's standards.
All right, having heard from our consultants, any members of the planning board have any further comments or questions at this time? All right, so I'm going to make a motion that we table this resolution and request of the appropriate consultant to gather more information that would help the planning board understanding what will ultimately be happening with the approved erosion and sediment control permit. That motion is made by myself, seconded by
Member Williams.
Member Williams. Okay, discussion on tabling the resolution. Any member wishing to discuss tabling the resolution, please do so at this time. Okay, seeing no discussion, I'll have the secretary call the roll on approving the tabling of the resolution and for the appropriate consultant to get in contact with the applicant or their.
Chair Cortine?
Aye.
Member Spear?
Aye.
Member Roban?
Aye.
Member Williams?
Aye.
With a a vote of 4-0 with 3 absences, the resolution is tabled and the consultants have been given a directive of the planning board to get in touch with the applicant. So the next resolution is for Rusciano erosion control permit. And I think I can see where this is going. So rather than reading the resolution and motioning and seconding it and then having discussion and tabling the resolution, ultimately, what I'll do is I'll put forward a motion that the appropriate applicant, please, the appropriate consultant get in touch with the Rusciano erosion sediment control applicant or consultant to further clarify what they are looking to do with the planning board approved erosion sediment control permit. That motion is made by myself, seconded by
Second.
member Roman. Discussion? Any member of the planning board wishing to discuss the motion for the appropriate consultant to contact the applicant or consultant? Any member, please offer your discussion at this time. All right, this is obviously a separate erosion sediment control permit, so I don't want to just treat it the same as the previous one, but it's a very similar circumstance where we're on the 21st extension and we're looking at the 22nd extension. So obviously it's a different permit, but is there anything substantially different, Attorney Polidoro, with this?
I agree.
No, in fact, the applications are related in that one is taking material from one property and storing it on another property, if I'm remembering correctly, Joe. So yeah, they're very similar.
Engineer Berger, anything further to add?
No.
And Planner Werner? Okay, so seeing no further discussion, all those in favor of the appropriate consultant to get in touch with Rusciano regarding the Rusciano applicant and or consultant regarding the approved planning board approved erosion sediment control permit. The secretary, please call the roll.
Chair Courtine,
Aye.
Member LaRobediere,
Aye.
Member Roman,
Aye.
Member Williams,
Aye.
The vote of 4.
do we have a second on that?
It was seconded
I seconded it.
I got it.
3-4 minutes ago by memory.
Yeah.
So with a vote of 4-0 with 3 absences, the motion for the appropriate consultant to contact Rusciano applicant or consultant regarding their approved erosion sediment control permit is approved. All right. Next, we have a release of escrow. Resolution authorizing release of planning board escrows. Be it resolved that the planning board of the town of Dover does hereby authorize that the following planning board escrow be returned to the applicants as set forth below. So I'm going to be reading the applicant name, then the application number, then the remaining escrow dollar amount. Okay, so SRM Enterprises, PB-109, $1,773.55. Country Squire Apartments, PB-121, $3,493.85. Zingaro Route 55, PB-132, $557.02. Lands of Fernia, PB-143, $2,658.06. 22 West Properties, PB-165, $545. Cricket Hill, PB 16-142, $2,578.50. Cypress Creek Renew Site Inspection, SIE-18-108, $2,480. Holomakoff, EC 17-883, $1,511.11. Dover Solar LLC, EC 17-886, $72. Wingdale Materials Wetland ESC, EC 19-890, $427. This resolution is being offered by myself, seconded by
Second,
Member Roman. Discussion? So again, returning the applicant's money either because their project has been completed or they are no longer pursuing the project and it's their money to have. All right. Any member of the planning board wish to make a comment or question at this time?
no,
No comment.
Okay, thank you. Any of our consultants have anything to add regarding this resolution?
Nope, not me.
All right, thank you. All right, seeing no further discussion, resolution authorizing release of planning board escrows. All those in favor, Secretary, please call the roll.
Member Cortine,
Aye.
Member LaRobertier,
Aye.
Member Roman,
aye,
Member Williams.
Aye.
All right, the vote is 4-0 with 3 absences. The resolution for release of escrows is approved. We'll now move on to approval of minutes. We have 2 sets of minutes. The first one is from our April 19, 2021 meeting. There was some updates that need to be made to a few things that people have said. That has been done. So I'll need a motion for the approval of the April 19, 2021 minutes. Motion made by myself, seconded by
second,
Member Roman. Discussion? Any member of the planning board wish to discuss this, please do so at this time.
well, I would just like to thank Marilyn Van Millen for the work that she did in preparing and revising the minutes.
Great. All right, any further discussion? All right, seeing no further discussion, all those in favor of approval of the April 19, 2021 minutes, all those in favor say aye.
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 Hearing 4 ayes and with 3 absences, the motion to approve the minutes is approved. We have approval of the minutes from May 17, 2021. I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes from May 17, 2021. Again, motion made by myself, seconded by
Second,
Member Oman. All right, discussion?
I wasn't at the May meeting, so just noted.
does that mean that we don't have a quorum to approve it?
Don't have to have been at the meeting to necessarily
Yeah.
approve the minutes.
You're voting on the form of the minutes, and if you've reviewed the videos or watched the meeting, you can vote on it.
Fair enough. Thank you.
Okay. So any further discussion regarding the minutes from May 17, 2021? All right, seeing no further discussion, all those in favor of approving the minutes from our meeting of May 17, 2021, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye,
Having heard 4 ayes and with 3 absences, the motion to approve the May 17, 2021 minutes is approved. All right, our next scheduled meeting is for June 21st, 2021. This meeting will be in person at Dover Town Hall. We will, I would suggest to planning board members that you, and consultants, that you arrive by 6:30, just so we can all be comfortable and settled with the layout of the meeting room. I do need to receive clarification from the town supervisor with regard to what rules or regulations the town board has adopted, if any, with respect to members of the public coming to the meetings, as we are a separate board, but still need to follow the town's rules and regulations when it comes to public gatherings. So I'll be sure to do that before our meeting. We'll also have a consultants meeting regarding the June 21st meeting. I would think sometime next week. So when we know when that will happen, we'll look to invite one or two other planning board members if you'd like to join us. We do know that we will have a public hearing on the Billington lot line adjustment as part of the meeting. And then also we've received the Harmon Valley Homestead reapplication. And then also we may be looking at one or both of the requests for extension, depending on what information we get back regarding those. Secretary Van Millen, anything else that we're anticipating for that meeting?
No, I would just ask that the members please RSVP if they are attending the meeting.
Yes, please.
So I will know how to set up the room for the members prior to the meeting. That's all.
Thank you. Okay, and then we have our meeting on July 19th, 2021, which would be 4 weeks later. The deadline for that is July 2nd, 2021, which, right, the legal holiday would be Monday, July 5th, right? So town hall will be open Friday, July 2nd, correct? Secretary Millen? Okay, thank you. All right, so any questions on our upcoming meetings from any members of the board?
No, it will be good to be in person again.
I agree. All right, so with that, make a motion. Seeing no further business before this planning board, I'll make a motion to adjourn. Motion made by myself, seconded by
Second.
Member Roman. All those in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The meeting is adjourned.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you.